I had pretty much decided to let this whole healthcare and budget debate just go by unremarked. It really doesn't affect me. But I saw something today. I think it's funny in that, like this healthcare thing that, Bridger, they were calling it Obamacare, and he embraced that name, but now all of a sudden they want to call it the Affordable Care Act, which is a great misnomer. But it's to kind of distance himself, his legacy, that he's so damn concerned about. I think he should be more concerned about doing what is right instead of what his legacy is going to be. But even now, he's trying to get away from Obamacare, and they want to call it the Affordable Care Act because I think they realize, this dog isn't going to hunt, and they just want to distance themselves from it. But I had a laugh this morning. Like I say, I was going to just let it slide by, but I happened to watch. It's been raining. I got like 5 inches of rain, so I've been stuck inside. And at noon, then I happened to look on the phone, and I was watching James Carney, that mouthpiece for the White House. And it's so damn funny. He reminds me, I'm sure you've had to have read the book Animal Farm. Way back in first year high school, I think is when I read it. I still got the book. Where the animals take over the farm, and it's supposed to be a kind of a spoof of communism, but it fits this bill so well. And I tell you that James Carney plays the role of the pig squealer to perfection. It's just amazing. I don't know how nobody else has noticed this before. Well, Obama plays Napoleon pretty well. But if you haven't read that book, or haven't read it for a while, it's a short story. Go back and read it. And, like I say, it was supposed to be a spoof of communism, but God damn, it fits the bill now. I think it's funny that, like right now, they're fighting over, piddly shit. They're just fighting for the sake of fighting, really. But, he doesn't want to back off on this Obamacare stuff. And what they're trying to get him to do now is to drop, two things that the tax on medical devices, which I think is just ridiculous. And if there's anything that shouldn't be taxed, it's like your wheelchairs and shit like this, I mean, that's a stupid thing to have stuck in there in the first place, but he's hanging on to this like this is going to make the difference. And I tell you, if we gotta make healthcare work on the back of the cripples, we got a problem. It's just silly. But the other thing they're fighting about, which put me in mind of Animal Farm too, was they have an exemption. He was great for the exemptions when this thing passed. Then pretty soon, start exempting this and that. In fact, even now he wants another exemption for unions and stuff for his people, But one of the exemptions that they stuck in there real quick was for the staff, for the president, vice president, all the congressmen and senators, and their staffs, because their staffs were raising holy hell because this was going to hurt them, like it's going to hurt the majority of people, though a lot of people haven't come to realize it yet. It's going to be a great deal for certain people, but those certain people are going to make this system not work, in the end. But they got that exemption in there, and now the Republicans are trying to get that exemption out of there for all of them, including themselves and their staffs, and they really don't want to do this. They don't even want to really talk about this, but they're kind of trying to make a point. But they're freaking their staff people out too. But, that's got to go. They can't have special privileges like that. I mean, if everybody's in, everybody's in. Not, special little privileges for them. But that's in Animal Farm when the pigs took over, because the animals took over the farm. Eventually the pigs were running everything. and they had written the rules. There was like 6 or 7 rules that they'd written on the back of the barn door. And they kept changing the rules, the pigs, because they could read. And they'd go up there and change the damn rules all the time. So, it was like they couldn't drink, they couldn't walk, everything except pigs. Pigs were always different, treated differently. So I think the accept pig amendment has to come in on this thing. You can't, they've all got to be in on this deal. If this is such a wonderful deal, why aren't they jumping on it? And the same with regular people. If this is such a wonderful deal, why are they immediately going to come with penalties if you don't do it? There shouldn't be a question of don't do it. If this is the big grab, you'd think everybody would want it. But people look at this, and in fact I did, like they had all their traffic on their website. One of them was me checking out. There's no way this is doable for me. It's just not going to happen. And I'm sure a lot of other people are going to be in that same boat. So then they have these penalties, which is going to be like 1% of your income, starting at 1% of your income. Though they're a little chancy on how they can possibly collect this, unless you have an income. If you have income tax return coming, it's gone. You can't stop them. But they'll have a little more trouble with me. But the whole idea of having to penalize people, to force them to do this thing that is so good for them. Anytime you start doing something for somebody's own good, think about what you're doing, because you're probably not doing something for their good. The whole thing in this thing is for them to work it out to get reelected. That's all they ever try for. It's all politics. It really isn't doing anything for people. In fact, when I say that this affordable health care thing is a misnomer, it is, because there's no way this is going to work as it's set up now. Because the whole problem with health care not being affordable is the fact that the medical expenses are huge. It isn't that, just that the insurance, you're treating a symptom. You're not treating the problem. You got to get to the problem, which is the cost. If somebody goes into the hospital, the costs are outrageous. And there's really no rhyme or reason to this. I know they did a study, I think it was in Boston, like 8 different hospitals. For the exact same procedure, the amount varied radically, like 2 or 3 times. I think the one was like 4 times as much as the other. But it's because they can do it. They can do whatever they want. And the government now is coddling them, saying, okay, this is just fine. We'll just make the insurance higher. It's you got to go to the problem. Don't treat a symptom. You got to fix the healthcare system before you can fix the insurance system. They're going about this all wrong. I give it 2 years and it's going to crash, but then it's going to take us another 8 years to get back to the system that we need. And I'd say, fine, I'm all for socialized medicine, but look around the world. There's a lot of countries that are doing it that it works well in. This rigmarole we got going ain't going to do it. It ain't going to work. You can't. Yeah, no matter. I've said my piece. But look at the animal farm. I think you'll get a kick out of it.